I love now that I get to be one of you, sturdy New England Congregationalists. In the South, we wore Easter dresses to Easter sunrise services. But I got to stand on a rocky hillside wearing every piece of clothing I owned to feel the hard grass crunch under my feet as we stood together to proclaim the good news of the resurrection of Christ in the dark before the dawn. We are not alone, though. It's staggering when you think of it. All across the planet, as that line, that demarcation between the dark and the light moves across the face of the globe, church bells start to ring in town after town, each Sunday proclaiming that resurrection. People of faith have always been those fools to get up, to do what needs to be done. We've always been the ones to stumble forth and to strike the light of hope against the wall of darkness, and to stand, as I get to do. I love that I got to do it. Jen had to read the words. But that moment gives me chills to be able to lift that candle into the air in the darkness and to proclaim those words from the first chapter of John's Gospel. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness shall never overcome it. I was reading this week a little devotional book that I love by Frederick Buechner. It's called Whistling in the Dark, a doubter's dictionary. And of his title, he writes, "I think of faith as a kind of whistling in the dark, because in much the same way it helps to give us courage and to hold the shadows at bay." Whistling in the dark. We do that. It may seem small or foolish to you, but I encourage you as we begin a new year together as Christ's church. I encourage you to remember that we celebrate the creative power that rises out of nothing. We celebrate that with the words of that psalm. What did it say? "All you mortals and angels honor the glory and power of the Lord." Mortals and angels together. We are those honored messengers. God trusted us to carry that good news out into the world. We people, we flawed human beings, are called to be the stewards not only of all creation, but to see and name holy radiance all around us in the world for one another. We have to do it. We are called to do it. We are compelled to do it. It is our job. I love that worship, the word liturgy, comes from a word that means the work of the people. It's work to get up some days and to sing our praise. So thank you all for coming to work with me this morning. We have to do this precisely because God is not so obvious and visible in the world. Even to pastors like me and Jen, who can get a little worn down and burnt out at the end of a holiday season. Even true saints like Mother Teresa or St. John of the Cross, if we are to believe their biographies, we're prone to suffer dark nights of the soul. We all can become sickened and our faith weakened by the prevalence of evil all around us. How do we proclaim the good news of God's love when Israelis and Palestinians get up and greet the dawn by killing one another's children? How do we do that? How do we not do that? Who else will do it? That's our job as disciples of Jesus. It's been such a small thing for me my whole life. I grew up in the church. Like my kids, I don't think I ever missed a Sunday, you know? Remember those days when we put on our patent leather shoes and our little anklets and our little white gloves and bundled up and we went to church? Such a small thing. We respond to the call to worship. We stand up and we sing a hymn, whether or not we can sing. Amen, choir? And we unite our voices in a prayer that Jesus taught his disciples to pray. And that Christians have been speaking together in all kinds of places and in all kinds of weather ever since. We do that. We do that. The crossing of highways 133 and 25 on planet Earth. We do that. That's our job. Thanks be to God for this good news. Amen.